Hello viewers, Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. It is an absolute pleasure to make these videos for you, and this video today will be about the full moon in Taurus. It's called a full blue moon in Taurus, and it's coming on Halloween. Now you know on the 31st of October at 8 degrees and 38 minutes. Now you know that Halloween is a time when the veil between this world and the afterlife, the next world, is at its thinnest. My take on Halloween is that that is absolutely correct. I feel that not only is it a celebration here on earth, it's also a celebration wherever your loved ones are, because they know that this is a time when they can perhaps get through. For those that are doing it tough, maybe come to you in your dreams, lend you support, connect with you in those ways where we think it's just synchronicity or it's a coincidence. We see numbers, we hear songs on the radio, we see signs, road signs that remind us, we see even someone's name. In fact, yesterday I had some cleaners over to give a quote. I wanted a bit of help cleaning this house, and on the name of the card was the exact name of my sister who passed away over a year ago now, my beloved sister. Her name was there, her maiden name, and that really took me aback. And I know that there is this thinning of the veil at around this time. Now, this full blue moon in Taurus is particularly rare to be falling on Halloween. When I look at the chart, and as you know, you need to be studying astrology for 20 years before you can say that you halfway know it. But what I can see in this chart is something rare. And I'll tell you what I think it means. We have Uranus and the moon just about, well, yes, conjunct at 8 degrees. Uranus is at 8 degrees, 41 minutes. The moon is at 8 degrees, 38 minutes, all falling, and I'm looking at a Washington chart, all falling in Taurus in the 5th house. It is opposite, obviously, the sun, also at 8 degrees, obviously, 8 degrees, 38 minutes. But it is in the 11th house in Scorpio. So we have in the 1st house and the 2nd house, the big 3 planets, Jupiter, particularly Pluto. Pluto is all about the soul. It's all about a change, can be a change in power. That's what this chart screams at me. There are huge changes ahead. There is a change in the power structures. Now, what this means for us collectively and individually, with that Uranus is the planet of something happening that is unexpected. It is, can be seen as a planet that, where we can get that influence to rebel. Now, in that 5th house of self-expression, and then, the polarity is, of course, is in the 11th house and Scorpio, which is endings and beginnings, transformations. This is a hugely significant time, not just for across the world, but also for us. We are finding our voices. To me, the blue moon in Taurus means that we are finding our voice. We are standing our ground. We are realizing in that 5th house of self-expression, we are recognizing our worth. No longer will we be silent. So I feel that this is a momentous time with the US election coming in a few days following this full blue moon in Taurus. Without a doubt, change is afoot, individually, collectively, and globally. Right, let's see. I'm going to use 3 decks today. I'm going to use my, of course, Moonology Oracle. I've also purchased a very rare deck. I'm not even sure it's available anymore, but it's the Templar Tarot. I was lucky enough to purchase a deck that is actually signed by its creator, Alan Chester. You might be able to get it in the States, I don't know. I got this from New Zealand, and it is a very rare deck. I'll be using the Templar Tarot, and I'll also be using the beautiful Lightseer Tarot, because this is a time for breaking away from old patterns, old cycles. When I opened up for this reading, usually I go through a chakra balancing. These upper, particularly the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra, those upper chakras, were actually this deep midnight shade of indigo. The blue was a velvety, dark, deep blue that I sat in. So there are some deep changes afoot. There are some deep patterns that are changing, and this is, as I said, a time where the power structures are changing. So I'm going to ask 3 questions. First of all, with the Moonology card, what are the messages that are coming forward at this time of the full blue moon in Taurus? Then we'll look at what are we manifesting, and then what will flow from it. So bearing in mind we have probably the most critical US election in, well, you tell me, in hundreds, I think, in your history. Because what would another term of Trump bring, not just for the US but for the world? There are huge changes afoot. Pluto in that second house, Saturn sitting alongside, conjunct Saturn, Jupiter in currently, it looks like in Capricorn in this particular chart that I'm looking at. Saturn and Jupiter, of course, will move into Aquarius. Looks like Saturn might even be in Aquarius. Let's have a look where Saturn is in this Washington chart. No, it's still in Capricorn. So we're seeing the endings of a cycle here. Tremendous change is upon us. So what are the messages, please, from Spirit? What are the messages, please, from Spirit? What are the messages, please, from Spirit? This is a really historical time. It's a time for women too to step forward and have their voice heard. We'll see again that pattern where women will come out in droves, women, young people, to vote. Let's have a look. What are the messages, please? Things are changing. So in some parts of the world, change will be will lead. In other parts of the world, it will be catching up. But change is occurring. What are the 3 messages, please? Or messages, not 3. Messages from Spirit, please. So we have the void of course moon. Nothing will come of this situation. Let's see what that is going to entail. Believe in the impossible. Wow. The blue moon. I looked at that card, void of course moon, and I thought, what on earth? What sort of a message is that? Because normally Spirit is so positive. But that is believe in the impossible. So this is a direct message. Perhaps that's what Uranus is doing, sitting right next to the moon, almost exactly next to the moon. That this is asking us to believe in the impossible. Change is coming, but what will it mean to you? What does it mean to you? For those that are saying nothing will come of this situation, this is all about self-worth. To me, this is the feeling of self-worth, where we hang our heads, where we refuse to look up, and we just labour under the same old patterns. This moon is in the distant sky. This blue moon is right upon us. So let's just have a look for a little minute at that card. we drew in this reading right after nothing will come of this situation. Shock, shock. What does that mean? Believe in the impossible. It is down to you and your beliefs. Regardless, this isn't a political reading. However, when you see where the collective is, you can see also the links and the intersections with the individual. This is all about our self-worth, standing up, finding our voice, finding our truth, expressing ourselves, and not allowing anyone else to do that for us. So look for the leaders that encourage individual equality. The energy is gaining momentum. Look. So this is perhaps even a past situation. This is what brought us to where we are now. The need for action, the need, Uranus in the fifth house in Taurus, this full moon, blue moon in Taurus. Taurus perseveres. Taurus just doesn't stand still and take defeat. They persevere. So then we have believe in the impossible. Could you feel the energy change there? Because I could. And then we have the energy is gaining momentum. Let's see what's at the base here. It's time to take action. Beautiful cards. It's time to take action. And here is the message that I channeled at the beginning of this reading. The most important message for us: show the world the real you. Full moon in Aquarius. We have those planets moving into Aquarius at the end of the year. Now is the time. Now is the time to take that action. Unreal that out of all the cards in that Moonology deck, we actually draw the blue moon. Believe in the impossible. What does Taurus do? It perseveres. The energy, the momentum is changing. And look at the sky. Look at the sky. This is the shadow work that we had to do. These dark indigo, deep blue colours. We had to dig hard for the truth. We had to mobilise to change what was no longer working for us. And this energy is lightening. It's lightening, it's growing, it's ascending. It's ascending. Blue moon in Taurus. Show the real you. Blue moon in Taurus. All right. Beautiful cards. Thank you, Spirit. Let's have a look at the Templar Tarot. Now, I only got this morning, so forgive me if it, you need to work with the deck, but I felt it important, given its rarity, to use it today. Now, I want to ask this deck and Spirit, what are we currently manifesting with that energy gaining momentum, showing the real you, standing up, using your voice, equality, stepping forward, not cowering in the shadows, being brave, something beginning and ending, transformations there, and it's affecting the collective. It's affecting the collective. And we have Mars in, of course, in Aries, in that fourth house of home. So with that, I think Aries actually came up in the Moonology cards as well. Let me go back to that card. It's time to take action. Now, we did have, was it a new moon or a full moon in Aries? I think very early. It was either in September or October. That was a critical turning point, I feel. Okay, it's time to take action. It's time to take action. We knew it, we felt it, and we are rising. We are rising. All right, let's have a look at what are we manifesting. What we knew we had to take action. What are we manifesting? What are we manifesting? You know, I'm just seeing footages of all. Okay, so it's a new emotional start. It's like that Wheel of Fortune. In order to shift, we had to kind of all collectively put our hands on, because I'm seeing the Ace of Cups. It is a new emotional start. You know, it's like we were asleep and now we're not. And part of that is reconnecting with the emotional body, not being fearful of the emotional body, not being fearful of the wounds, but acknowledging them, being aware, sitting in them and moving through them. So let's have a look, please. The Knights Templar. Okay, something's coming out here. So we have the Chariot. The energy is gaining momentum. The Chariot card. We are cleaving away the old and moving forward very, very quickly. Look at what's occurring here, the Devil card. This again is, you know, the Devil card is not necessarily a bad or negative card, but it talks about the need. Here we have Uranus sitting right next to the moon in Taurus, to this blue moon, almost exactly conjunct. 8 degrees, 38 minutes. Again, I'm using a Washington chart, so go on to Cafe Astrology and draw your own charts for your own areas. Have a look at where that moon, what house is that moon falling in, and your natal moon as well will give you some indications of how this blue moon is going to affect you. We are moving away from this transformation, and of course this Devil is almost doing us a favor here. So we've got these lower chakras here, and we are cutting away the old. We are stepping forward, we are changing, and we are doing it very quickly with this Chariot card. The third card out is the Ace of Wands. So rising up in this inspiration, and I love the colors in these cards. So what are we manifesting? We are cutting away from the old, from the toxicity, from what no longer served us, transforming, and we are manifesting this beautiful new start. Now, the question that the Moonology cards pose for us is, believing in the impossible, what are you manifesting? What is that new start? How high do you want to go? If you're going to believe in yourself, what do you think is possible to achieve? That's the question that this card is asking. All right, thank you. I'll just pull a Celtic cross and go a little bit deeper. These new starts, the new start that we're manifesting, what is it going to lead to? Show me this new start that we're manifesting, and the energy is gaining momentum with that Chariot card. What are we manifesting, please, Spirit? What are we manifesting? Yeah, the Death card's like the Death card is already although Death is sitting at the table, because that's the clairvoyant image that I got. It's like it's sort of a little bit in the past. So, you know, of course, the Death card is about endings, cutting away what is no longer serving us. We can't live. It's impossible to live in an atmosphere that is no longer serving you, or in an environment. And you think about that for the collective. Okay, something's wanting to come out. The 8 of Cups. Yeah, leaving something that is no longer serving us. The environment is, you know, literally, there's no life here. And this person has no choice but to walk away. No choice but to walk away and almost be transported to something new. So believing in the impossible. What we're visualizing now is very important. Now, at the individual level, now you can apply this to the collective, but the collective is the sum of its parts, and that's the individual. So apply this to your own particular circumstances at the moment. So what are we manifesting, please? What are we manifesting? Okay, Knights Templar. So we have strength. What comes from, you looked at those Moonology cards, what happens when we're brave, when we do that, we walk into the shadows and we can see what is there, and we know what actions we have to take. We know what boundaries we have to put up. We know what we need to not repeat in the future. There comes a time when the line in the sand is drawn, and from that strength arises. And this, of course, comes after an ending, or in order to enact an ending. I'll bring the laptop down so you can see these cards here. The strength card. Okay, I'll just push this back. The strength card. What is crossing that? Oh, okay, let's go from this side. Okay, the Page of Swords. It's interesting, isn't it? The Page of Swords, she carries that Ace of Swords, and it looks like she is going to be brave enough to go into the dark. So until we did that, our strength was not going to be realized. If there is a situation that is confronting you, that you're feeling a little bit like, should I go into that cave? You won't transform that situation until you do. And going into the cave means really taking a stand with that Uranus conjunct that moon, really taking a stand against one situation that has been repeating, and it's a pattern that's not healthy. It's a dysfunction. It's about looking at that and taking action on that. And then the enlightenment of the page with her Ace of Swords, then that follows, and then you move into strength. At the foundation, we've got the Page of Cups. So this is, again, this new emotional start. We are at the beginning of something. It's the foundation of the reading. And this is why that message about what do you want to manifest? How with that Ace of Wands, it's time now to think about what it is that you want to bring forward. How do you want to go forward? Because we are only at the beginning. We are closing down that old cycle. We are at the beginning of a new cycle. Now we have, it looks like the Queen of Wands stepping forward bravely. The Queen of Wands in the past. What did it take to get to this point? I got a real draw to the feminine rising, to females coming forward and finding their voice. There's a special, for all my viewers, there is a special message here about the divine feminine rising up. And we've got this equality happening. The Knight of Wands in the sky. What are we manifesting? This is this Ace of Wands. This knight is a very, very quick-moving knight. And we are manifesting, holding that staff, holding that Ace of Wands, and manifesting something new. And I am drawn to these beautiful pastel shades of this card, which is interesting. It's not deep reds. It's this more feminine energy here. And if you look behind the Queen of Wands, you get an indication. And in fact, that looks like the Knight there. The Knight is bringing forward this divine feminine energy. Let's have a look at what's in the near future. I knew what the card would be, but it is the Tower card. So in this particular deck, you see down here almost like the ruins of some kind of past civilization. And then up here, we see those beautiful skies, which are not portending darkness. They're rising. We're ascending. We're rising up. And we're leaving behind this lower world. So whichever way you want to look at the current situation at the moment, it took or will take a tower moment. The lightning is hitting that structure. The power structures are changing. And this is not just for the collective. This is at the individual level too. I want to stress that. The Wheel of Fortune, all hands to that deck. All hands on that cup. Let's see what is here. The Wheel of Fortune. Changing our past. I don't know why that phrase came to mind, but changing our past is the vision on offer. How far do we want to take it? How far do we want to go? How far do we want to go? Believe in the impossible is what this Uranus conjunct the full blue moon is talking about in the 5th house. Now we have here the environment around is the Ace of Cups. There's a 1 there in this deck. The 1s are the aces. The Wheel of Fortune and the Ace. New starts. New emotional starts. But this person has to look up. This person has to understand what's on offer here. What's in the hopes and fears? The Queen of Swords, cutting away the old. It looks a bit like the old fairy tale of Sleeping Beauty. The Queen of Swords coming in and cutting away very systematically what is no longer needed. Interesting, I'm pulling all of these queens in this reading. The outcome, the Knight of Cups. There is that Ace of Cups on offer to us. Emotional, 2 knights. What is this blue moon in Taurus? What are we manifesting? These knights move forward very purposefully. This is the Knights Templar deck after all. What is that cup? The cup is the Holy Grail. The 8 of Swords, clarifying what is on offer, stepping out of what is restricting us, what is holding us back, finding our voice, arising out of that position where we feel like we are restricted. It's very much a closed environment here. What is on offer? Freedom. Freedom's on offer. 1 more card, please. And the 3 of Swords. The 3 of Swords, leaving behind the old. Letting go. Uranus in that 5th house, letting go. Letting the past go is the message or what we're manifesting. Letting that past go. It does take the Hanged Man energy at the base of the pack. This person is nearly being dipped in what looks like a pretty fiery pit here. We had to really turn things upside down in order to see the truth. We have the Empress card, abundance, manifesting abundance. The base of the pack is the underlying energies here, and cutting away the old. Cutting away the old. Look what this charioteer has in his hands. Cutting away the old. And finally, here's our Ace of Wands again. Here's our Ace of Wands. How high do we want to go? What do we want to manifest? It's up to us. It's up to us. For those who have stepped into the shadow, stepped into that 3 of Swords energy, willingly stepped into it, participated, took action on it, how high do you want to go? Believe in yourself, find your voice. Key messages of the blue moon in Taurus. Now, I'm just going to have a look at the flow, what will flow from all of this energy. It's quite a complex reading today. What will flow? The Lightseer Tarot now. What will flow from this blue moon in Taurus? What will flow from this? What will flow? Just maybe 3 cards, please. What will flow from this? What will flow from the manifestation, please, Spirit? What will flow from the manifestation? A new start. A new start. The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands burning brightly in this third eye. Again, those beautiful pastel colours. A new start, the Fool card, bringing more light to situations. Again, I go back to that Page of Swords in the cave. What do you do when you move into that dark cave? You bring the light of truth. And of course, that has a ripple effect. It's about changing the past, changing our past. And the Six of Pentacles. There's an abundance that flows from that card. It's not just what we receive when we give. We receive when we give. One more card, please. What do we receive when we give? We receive abundance. This is a rebirth. A rebirth. This full moon energy, King of Wands. King of Wands, again, this inspiration, this emotional, reconnecting with the emotional body. This full moon in on the 31st, on Halloween, is very, very important. Very important time to set your intentions for the future, to start to think about what is possible. So I just want to thank Spirit for those beautiful messages, and for helping me work with the cards in the way that Spirit does, for the channeled messages and images and clairvoyance. And it really is about us now. It's about us. Every single one of us, regardless. Every single one of us. What is our truth? What do we want to bring forward? Okay, I'm just seeing Arthur now. Talk about mythology. Perhaps it was the energies of the Templar deck, but Arthur, I'm seeing the Excalibur in the rock now. It's time to pull that sword out. Okay, 10 of Swords, endings, to bring forward those endings and to create something new. To create something new. This is the 9 of Wands. A very important card. It talks about it, though, putting those boundaries up as a gift, never letting those old patterns come back. This is all about change, very powerful, powerful change. All right, and that's the Ace of Cups. All right, thank you for tuning in, everyone. A pleasure to read for you today. Thank you.